This is a short discussion about writing an impactful abstract for a research paper. We will quickly discuss the basic WH questions like what, why, how. What is a good abstract? Why it is important and how to write it. Abstract is the face of your research paper. It will create the first impact, and it is well known that you will never get a second chance to make a first impression. So we need to be very careful at the time of writing an abstract of your research article. Abstract is basically the face of your research paper, and it is a paragraph which will create the first impression. To create a good and positive impact and present yourself also as a quality researcher, you need to be very careful about writing an attractive abstract. Abstract is a summary of your paper and have limitation of 250 to 300 words commonly. Here you have to present all important information about your paper. It must include overall purpose of the research problem, major findings, interpretation of your result, and a brief summary and the prospect as the conclusion of your abstract. Now, why should we write an abstract and why it should be very good? It is the part where you are presenting the long story in short. The entire paper of 5 pages or 15 pages or 150 pages maybe, whatever. But the entire paper will be presented within these few words to give the idea of the entire work presented there. A good abstract will attract the right people, they who are working on the same field, they who are interested in the field. And as much as the right people will come in to read your research, they will use it. When we communicate a paper, the editor or whoever who is going to decide the reviewers, before deciding the reviewers, before sending it to the reviewers, they will go through your abstract to get an idea about the work and its quality. Depending on that, they will decide whether they will at all review the paper or not. So it is very important for the publication event. The good abstract will attract the right people, as I said already, and it will be cited by more people because they will go through the entire paper. They will use your findings only when they will be attracted towards your paper through your abstract. Now, how to write a good abstract? It must be very precise and clear in presenting its information. The abstract needs to be very much neutral, unbiased. And accurate presentation of result is very important. You cannot write something vague or cannot manipulate your result here. If you do so, people will have negative impact about you. Significance of the work need to be informed at the first stage when they will read your abstract. And you must avoid few things like ambiguous word, ambiguous information, some vague information, some false or manipulated information. And you must avoid, which is not much clearly understood, that qualitative information are not required. They should not be there in the abstract at least. It is better to avoid the qualitative remarks throughout the paper, but even if it becomes unavoidable in some cases in the body of the paper, but in abstract you only use quantitative information, that means numerical data. No qualitative remarks like good or bad or supposed to be good, nothing like that. So when one will go through your abstract, he or she will get the idea what work you have done, what are the results, what are the significance of those results, how they are useful, and where else they can be used, or what else one can think of working ahead of this work. These information must be communicated through your abstract. Here, from a very recently published paper, I have taken few points. They have presented it very clearly. What are the major mistakes people are doing in writing abstract? Sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. Misleading reporting, inadequate interpretation, and inadequate extrapolation. Misleading reporting is skipping negative results which you are getting in your actual work, overemphasizing secondary results as the primary result is not that good. Misleading experimental description. The actual experimental description which you have used is not given. Instead of that, some misleading description has been given. Linguistic tricks. As I said, vague word, ambiguous word, tricky words, they are not accepted actually. This is wrong use. Omitting research limitations. Almost all research, there are some limitations in their work. It may be related to data, infrastructure, or result analysis, or anything. But it must be highlighted so that whoever will go through the abstract, they will know that in which circumstance, in how you have done this work, and what can be added, what can be modified, what is extra required. Inadequate interpretation. Claiming without statistical presentation. As I said, no qualitative word, only statistical information, quantitative information. Overlooking the relevance of a result and focusing on statistical significance means when you have a very good statistical result, but that result is not much related to your actual work, means what you actually wanted to do, that is not that much good as per the accuracy calculation, but something else is giving good accuracy, which is a byproduct, and you are emphasizing that. It is not a good practice. Claiming superiority without statistical comparison. You cannot say that your paper is really good than others when you have not compared the statistical result, the quantitative analysis. You have to do quantitative analysis with similar works. Inadequate extrapolations. Generalization. You are making things general. You have done your research for a particular thing with a particular facility and using some particular information, and some particular result has been achieved. But you can generalize it, like using this result we can say the weather was good. It is not like that. If the weather was good in your result, that means there were some predefined criteria depending on which it was good. So you have to mention that. Practical application, not explode. You are doing something and you are not thinking about the actual application of this work, where it can be implemented, how it can be used for the mankind or any other kind of research work or whatever. But it must have some use. So that must be explored. So now you know how to write an abstract. Be honest at the time of writing. Exchange clear and real information in a quantitative way. To do this, you need a clear idea about the work you already have done. You have to do it properly on your own. You have to perform the actual experiments. Whether it is software, hardware, chemical, biomedical, whatever. You have to do it. Once you are having these things, this knowledge and honesty in you, you are ready to write a research paper and you are absolutely ready to write a very good abstract. So best of luck. Start writing.